Hello everybody on YouTube there. I'm on my front camera and got my Kubota Grand L4060 and put 130 hours on it. And right now I'm just checking the front axle. I changed the oil in the front axle after about 100 hours. You don't need to do that. It doesn't call to drain it, but I changed it because I had to get the oil out. I was changing the HSD filter. It's supposed to be done at 50 hours, but I bought the tractor. It had 23 hours on it, and they put a new filter on at 23 hours. So I let it run to 100 hours or so before I changed that. Plus the fact that I probably should have did it a while ago. I broke a hose off down underneath by the front loader there, those two hoses that stick out, and I lost, well, I had to put two 19 or 20 liter, one 20 liter pail and half another in to top it back up. So it's like I got more than half of new oil in there now. So anyway, so while I had that out too, I figured I would drain this front axle. And I just want to show you something here, and I'm gonna switch the camera here to the other side. So I got the nut off and my fill hose, and it calls for 6 liters, and I was just dumping it in and left it. And here's the fill level bolt, and I just filled it. I didn't measure the liters. I think it's about 6 or 6.5 liters in the front axle. I don't know, maybe 9. I can't remember. But I filled it up and I left the plug in to make sure the oil was going over to the other sides and draining down into the gears. Backed the tractor back and forth a few times and topped it up until it was coming out. And I checked it once, and it didn't on this bolt. A few days later, and there was nothing draining out, and I added more and nothing came out. So it went down further. I don't know if that's good or bad. Today, I don't know how much I put in it. I put 2 or 3 little drops, and when I put in a little bit more, nothing came out. So I put the bolt back in, added a little more. A little bit was coming out, put the bolt back in to stop it from draining out, and just, you know, to let it filter wherever it needs to go to. And when I took the bolt out again the second time, no oil came out this hole. And I added a little bit more a third time, left the bolt in for about 2 minutes, the drain fill bolt. I checked it first. When I did the third time oil top up, a little bit was coming out. I screwed the bolt in again and pulled it back out, and there was nothing. Now I put a lot more in it this time, probably a half a liter. Half a quart, you would say in the States. Let's see what it's doing now. Okay, so see, now it's coming out. Okay, so I just want to let you know that that I did this, and I'll drain that a little bit more. So I've topped that up a second time after driving the tractor. After filling it up, I topped that up immediately after I rolled the tractor back and forth a bit. And then a second time, I did that and filled it up until it drained with a little bit 2 times. And then when I came out here again today, about a week, maybe a week and a half later, I did a lot of work in the woods, hauling logs and firewood and stuff like that, lumber logs and stuff out with the grapple. And I said, I'm going to check that today, because the last day I filled that, I filled it until it was running out just a little bit, and I put the cap in it so it wouldn't be over full, but you know, a few drops over. And anyway, when I checked it today, I did 2 top ups, and it still wasn't coming out with a little bit. The third top up, I put more. Now I see it's coming out the whole a bit, but I'm gonna let it sit there for 10 minutes again. And in the comments in the note, I'll let you know if that oil still drains out a little bit more. So just be aware of that when you fill it up, if you're not rolling your tractor back and forth, and even if you do, you might want to check that in a few days, because I would say that I added with the 2 top ups here and the 2 top ups last time, and a little bit drained out on the second top-up that I put in. I would say that I probably put a liter I would say I probably put a liter or better in on these 2 checks, and don't know if it hurt it. Don't know that if they do that at the dealership or not, but it might be worth checking, because you know you don't want to run your axle low. And I've heard some people say that they've checked them when they got them new, and they didn't drain, and some of them have added as much as 2 or 3 liters when they got them from the dealer. After checking them. So I don't know if they're just filling them up and not rolling them. If that happens, mine wasn't draining when I checked. I loosened the plug to check it. It wasn't draining, but a lot of oil came out of mine when I did the flush out, the drain out of. So there was a lot of oil in there. If it was low, I really don't know, because I didn't check it from new. I assumed that was all done. But now, knowing what I know after doing what I'm doing here on the Kubota, I definitely would take some time and check that out on your Kubota. This is new to me this spring in May, or last May. It's January now. I got it in May. I got it with 23 hours on it, but it was a 2020. Some doctor owned it, and it sat in a warehouse for a year and a half. He only used it a little bit for when he first here. He traveled somewhere and decided to stay there, and called them and said, get rid of this tractor. So I got a real good discount on that for a tractor with 23 hours. Still had all the stickers on it, for Pete's sake. Anyway, overall, I'm pretty happy with the tractor. Anyway, if there's any other issues, I'll keep you posted.